Do you think property taxes in Texas are way too high? Well, stick around because I'm going to show you how you can save 20+% on your property taxes by living in Hudson Oaks. Now, if this is your first time on the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in the Aledo area, make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell for notifications to make sure that you get kept up to date on everything that's going on in the Aledo area. My name's Jared with Living in Aledo, Texas, and I get calls and texts all the time from people just like yourself who are thinking about moving to the Aledo area, and I love it. So whether you're thinking about moving next week or next year, all my contact information is in the description box below. I'm looking forward to helping you make a smooth move to Aledo. Now, if you've been around the channel for a while, you'll be familiar with some of these videos I've done, but we're going to be doing a Google Map tour and exploring Hudson Oaks. I'm going to be covering a lot of different details like the major thoroughfares, the neighborhoods. We're going to talk about some of the statistics. We're going to talk about the shopping. We're going to talk about the things to do. So we're going to cover a wide variety of topics, and while you're watching, if there's any questions that pop into your head, put those in the comment section right then. Don't forget to do that. I want to make sure that I answer all your questions. So stick around and we're going to hop into the Google Maps and get rolling. All right, well, let's jump right into this map tour of Hudson Oaks. Before we really get started, I'm going to show you kind of where everything is in general. And then I'm going to focus primarily on Hudson Oaks as it relates to the Aledo area, not how it relates to like Fort Worth or Weatherford. I have a video on everything you need to know about Aledo, which really encompass the greater Aledo area. But I do want to just point out that, okay, so you have Aledo here. Obviously, Fort Worth's all this over here. Weatherford over here. And then you have Hudson Oaks right here. So Hudson Oaks is much, much closer to Weatherford. It really is in between Aledo and Weatherford. So it's definitely on the west side, far west side of the Metroplex. And we're going to give you some context around really just the Aledo area specifically. So let's check this out. So if you're coming down 20, you have the Aledo exit first. Again, so you're coming down 20, which cuts through Hudson Oaks. Then you have the Aledo exit. Then you have the Ranch House Road exit, which is Willow Park. Then you have a kind of outside city limits area, which is FM5 or Micus. Again, I live in McDavid Estates right here. And then you can exit, take 180, which is Old Fort Worth Highway, and this is the Hudson Oaks area. So it has a really goofy city border. I'm going to show you that real quick. And this isn't exactly right, but it gives you a good idea of the outline of the city. So it jumps up into here. This is Red Eagle Ranch, which we'll talk about neighborhoods in a minute. And it comes all the way down south. Actually, mailing address even includes Oakview Estates, which again, we'll touch on the neighborhoods as well. So one thing I did want to point out, so one, you have this big commercial strip, which is really kind of like the commercial anchor of this general area. But Hudson Oaks doesn't really have anything that you would consider like old downtown or a downtown walkable area or anything like that. It does have a city hall, which is right behind the H-E-B right here. And we're going to talk about this commercial strip in a minute, and then even some of this stuff over here. But let's hop into the neighborhoods that if you're looking in the Hudson Oaks area, you're probably going to be considering. Try and make sure I can kind of see everything. So first you have Red Eagle Ranch. I have a couple clients over here. Then you have Oak Ridge, which is right here, kind of behind all the strip center stuff. Then you have, what's this one? Enchanted Oaks, and it has kind of the entrance off the access road right here. You have Hidden Oaks that comes up this way. And this one will be an interesting neighborhood to pay attention to in a moment. Then you have Diamond Oaks, which is this whole neighborhood right here. You have an entrance coming down here and an entrance over here. Now, I do have some clients over here, and this is a great neighborhood as well. And there's a video, the video I did recently about the neighborhood tour of Hudson Oaks. I think that's where the listing was, right here. Then you have Parker Oaks right here, which is right beside the airport. That's the runway right there. And the home that I did, the second home that I looked at was right here in Parker Oaks. And then if you come down south of Bankhead, you have this neighborhood over here, which is Oakview Estates, and I think the home that I showed here was like right there. So that was like 159 Courtney, some really cool homes. And now the important thing that I need to point out is that some of Hudson Oaks is in Aledo ISD, but most of it's in Weatherford. So one interesting thing to note is that the Aledo attendance zone cuts right through the middle of Parker Oaks. So like the southern half is Aledo. And then over here, I think like the southern or southwestern portion of Hidden Oaks is Aledo ISD. So let's clear this all out and let's take a look. I want to show you what I mean by that. And then all of Oakview Estates is Aledo ISD. So I'm going to zoom back and hop out. So you can see this weird blocked out like you're playing Tetris. So you have the first little bit of Hidden Oaks. You have the southern half of Parker Oaks, but none of Diamond Oaks falls in there. Enchanted Oaks doesn't fall in there. But then you do have all of Oakview Estates falls in the Aledo attendance zone. So one thing to note, and I'll go over some of the details in a minute, is if you are in Aledo ISD, your property taxes are going to be a little bit higher because Aledo ISD tax rate is 1.2% and Weatherford ISD tax rate is 1%. So when it comes to the school portion of your property taxes, the Aledo area is going to be 20% more than the Weatherford area. All right, let's clear all this out and jump to some of the recent development. So one, there's a Chewy's. It doesn't even show on Google Maps yet. Oh, it was right here. So it still shows as a like a blank lot. There's a Chewy's there. Anytime a new restaurant that people are excited about opens up in the Aledo area, the thing is just packed for weeks. There was like an hour-long wait there for lunch a couple weeks ago. I think it's been opened up maybe a month, maybe not quite a month. They've opened a new urgent care facility, new dental office. I think a Jack in the Box just opened up. I'm not really gonna spend much time on the fast food or the chains, and we'll get to the shopping needs in a minute. And then Once Upon a Child is a new like kid clothing and I think some toy stuff where they do some resale. That's opening up this month. It might have just opened up. And then a new credit union. So if you like dealing with credit unions rather than big banks, an EECU is coming to Hudson Oaks very soon as well. Now I'm going to talk about the shopping and recreation. And spoiler alert, not a whole lot of recreation, but there is obviously some good shopping. So my favorite grocery store is H-E-B. I've said it in another video. I genuinely enjoy going to H-E-B. They got good food. They have samples sometimes. They have high quality store brand stuff. So lots and lots of what they offer. They have lots of store brand stuff that is very comparable to like the name brand stuff. There's a Walmart as well. You have really not much fancy shopping either. And then I'm going to talk about restaurants. So Bourray's, which I haven't been to yet. It's been on my to-do list and I just haven't had the chance. La Playa Maya is a Mexican place that we've been to. Let me see, Blue Jasmine, which is right over here next to the Crumble Cookie. Crumble Cookie's amazing, but it's not a restaurant. So Blue Jasmine's right over here. You've got the Mama's Pizza right here. You got R&K Cafe over here. My kids' absolute favorite, and I like it too, Big Burger. They like burgers and fries. They'll eat that anytime. And then you also have a donut shop. And I'm gonna sidetrack myself a little bit, but when I moved into the area a number of years ago, I was on a goal to find the best donuts. And so I checked out all the donut shops in the area. And what I realized is there isn't one single best donut shop. There's actually donut shops that excel at particular things. So I have to say that the Hudson Oaks donut, and they also have boba tea, the thing that they are better than anyone else at is their pig in blankets. They're so good. By far my favorite. Now the other ones have good ones, but this one, if you go here, you have to get pig in a blanket and then you should compare it. And if you do, put it in the comment section below which donut shop you think has the best pig in a blanket. My vote is Hudson Oaks Donuts. So the other thing that's kind of interesting, and I'm gonna clear this so we can do another search, I'm gonna show you this, is if you are shopping for a car in Parker County and you are likely to spend some time in Hudson Oaks, look at all of those car dealerships. Now, most of these are big brand name, like they're like Ford branded, GMC, Chrysler, you see the Buick, the Chevrolet, Nissan. They got all the big stuff over here. And then they have like the Ford pre-owned section as well. And they have a couple of smaller used car lots. But there's a good chance that if you need a car and you live anywhere near here, you're going to be checking Hudson Oaks out because they just have such a good concentration of car availability. So other activities, let's clear this away. So really the two big activities they have to do in this area, they've got Urban Air Trampoline Park, which if you haven't been to a trampoline park, you should always have checked that out, especially if you have kids. Then they have Splash Kingdom Wild West, which is a water park. So it's not enormous. It's a lot of fun. It's very manageable with kids. They have family passes, and they even offer like nights for different churches to come and bring kids so that like little kids can play and not, have to worry about getting lost or anything. So now technically, I will say this, the Hudson Oaks city line I think cuts in between the two. So Splash Kingdom might technically be Weatherford, but it is so close, I'm including it as well. And now there are a lot of other things to do in this general area, like there's golf courses, there's the lake, there's other stuff to do. And I have all of that in the Everything to Know About Aledo. But again, I'm focusing exclusively on Hudson Oaks. So if there's not a golf course in Hudson Oaks, I'm not including it in this specific video. Check out that video about the Aledo area. Now, there are some other things to note because Hudson Oaks, like I said, it is its own city. It has city services. We're going to talk about the taxes in a minute, which is interesting. But they also have some really cool activities and events. So they had a July 4th fireworks show in the evening. And then during the day, they had live bands playing. So at this park, live band playing here, and they had a carnival over here. And I'm going to hop into this street view, and I'm going to show you this. So live band here. And then this whole park was set up for people to hang out, listen, chat, just hang out. And then over here in these fields, they had a carnival. And this was like, they brought in the carnival, they had a Ferris wheel, they had the teacup stuff, they had kind of like a obstacle course set up. They had food trucks in the field over here, and it was free. I mean, you had to pay for the food, but all of the like carnival rides were free. So a lot of fun. My kids had an awesome time. We went with friends. We were able to just hang out and listen to the music, and really great event. They typically do a fireworks show and that carnival on July 4th. They're actually about to have a Halloween trunk or treat event as well. And they really do make a lot of use of this park over here. So we've talked a lot about Hudson Oaks in general and just kind of like what they offer, what they do, how they're funded. I do want to talk specifically about some real estate specific information, but start off with that niche.com rates Hudson Oaks as the #2 best place to live in Parker County, and that's right behind Aledo being #1, which is why we live in the area, and ahead of Weatherford, which is kind of the biggest, obviously the biggest city in Parker County. And then when it comes to average home prices, you are going to see that the average home price in Hudson Oaks is going to be $591,000. This was over the last 12 months. But that is actually brought up artificially by a couple of homes that sold near $2 million. Now, over here in Oakview Estates, you do have some higher priced homes in that 1.5 plus or minus range. So the median home value in Hudson Oaks is closer to $495,000. So if you're looking in Diamond Oaks and Enchanted Oaks, you're going to be paying over here in Red Eagle Ranch, Oak Ridge, you're going to be paying closer to plus or minus that median price point of $495,000. That's where the greatest number of homes are valued at in that range. However, like I mentioned, you do have some homes that will sell for in the high $1 million range. Another interesting tidbit is that only 27 homes sold in Hudson Oaks in the last year. But again, it's a smaller city, so that's just an interesting tidbit. Now I want to get to taxes, and this I think is one of the most interesting things about Hudson Oaks, is that Hudson Oaks doesn't charge its residents or its business owners property tax, or city tax, that's a better way to say it. So how do they fund all the city services, the police department? How do they pay their salaries for the people that work for them, for improvements? Hudson Oaks pays for all of that with its revenue from its sales tax. So that strip center that we talked about, and you're gonna see some videos, and again, I've had some aerials you may have seen. This strip center right here really funds the biggest chunk of what Hudson Oaks does. So they pride themselves on that. I think it's awesome. I think that they're not just soaking up taxes like, just because they can. And so what this means is that if you live inside let's see if I'm gonna show this. If you live inside Hudson Oaks and you live in the Aledo area, You may be getting city services and you're gonna pay the same tax rate as I do because outside the city limit, so I don't have city taxes, but I have Aledo ISD taxes. So my tax rate outside city limits is 1.8% approximately. So you could live in Hudson Oaks, get city services, and still go to Aledo ISD and your tax rate's still 1.8%, which is pretty cool. Now, if you don't have kids and you're not trying to make sure your kids are in Aledo ISD, but you still like the area, you still like the greater Aledo area, you like Hudson Oaks, if you fall in the Weatherford attendance zone, your tax rate's only gonna be 1.6%, which is nuts. That's, 15-ish% cheaper than if your kids are in the Aledo ISD attendance zone. And why is that different so much? It's really just comes, like I said, straight down to the difference in the school district's tax rate. School district tax rate for Weatherford is about 1%. School district tax rate for Aledo is 1.2%. So it's for the specific school portion, it's 20% higher. And because that's such a big chunk of your overall tax rate in the Hudson Oaks area, that's gonna be 15% increase in taxes if you're in the Aledo area. All of their city services are funded by sales tax, which is, I think it's really cool. Also makes them have to be very business friendly and proactive on what they bring in because they need a variety of businesses so that the city's revenue is safe from recession. So they can't have all one type of business because so you have car dealerships, you have restaurants, you have retail, you have big box stores. So they have, again, a very good variety of businesses so that no matter what's going on in the economy, hopefully their sales tax revenue is enough to continue to fund the government and what the city government's gonna do. So if I missed anything, if I didn't touch on a question or a thought you had about Hudson Oaks, make sure you put that question in the comment section below. I do check those, and I'd love to make sure you get any questions answered about the Hudson Oaks or the greater Aledo area. Okay, thanks for sticking around and checking out Hudson Oaks. And like I said, if there's anything I missed or anything you have more questions about, put those questions or comments in the comment section below. I always get to those, happy to respond. And remember, whether you're thinking about moving next week or next year, all my contact information is in the description box below. Feel free to reach out however you are most comfortable. And I look forward to helping you make a smooth move to Aledo or Hudson Oaks.